you guys, Sarah the Catholic Homemaker here. Welcome to my channel, all of you, and if you haven't subscribed already, I would love it if you did subscribe to my channel so we can continue to grow this community. Also hit the thumbs up button if you like this video, share and comment below. This video is all about how to raise your progesterone naturally and more specifically during pregnancy. So yeah, comment below if you know of any other methods I haven't mentioned that work, that are natural. And let's jump into the video. So first of all, I want to go over my history of low progesterone. And with every pregnancy, this is my 4th pregnancy now. If you didn't see my last video, I am pregnant now and I am just past the 1st trimester now. So that's really great. Like a really great feeling to me. But with every pregnancy, I've had my progesterone tested and I tend to be on the lower side. I looked back into my history and my 1st pregnancy, I got it tested in the 1st trimester around 9.5 weeks and I was a 21. Now the normal range for progesterone during the first trimester is from 11 to 44. I don't remember what the measurement point is, but ideally like a NAPRO technology doctor, which I was going to one at the time, they want you to be at least a 25 or higher in your 1st trimester, so they wanted me to supplement. However, I did not supplement and I went on to have a healthy pregnancy, healthy baby. The only thing that I did, I consulted with Dr. Banerjee in India. I just wrote him an email. He's no longer living, unfortunately, but at the time he responded back to my email and he told me to take I don't remember the remedy off the top of my head, but it's the Banerjee protocol. And he told me to take it like, I think twice a day for the rest of my pregnancy. Now the only drawback to that is that is not classical homeopathy, and I am more of a believer in the classical homeopathy method or protocol because it just gets you better results. Now, whether that helped my baby stay healthy or not, and my progesterone levels to not dip below an unsafe level, I'm not really sure. Because I did get my progesterone tested at least one other time during the pregnancy, like 2nd trimester and maybe also 3rd trimester. And it was still on the lower side and they wanted me to supplement, but I just didn't supplement. I continued on with the remedy that Dr. Banerjee recommended for me. And I think it was just part of the protocol they have probably for low progesterone. And so yeah, I never supplemented. My baby was fine, healthy. The 2nd pregnancy I had ended in miscarriage, and I was almost 11 weeks, but they said that it happened a couple weeks before that. And I had my progesterone tested, I think it might have been around 7 weeks, I can't remember. And it was on the lower side. It was lower than 21. I don't remember the exact number, maybe 15 or something. So at first I wasn't sure what I should do, and I was debating back and forth for like a week about that. And I didn't really want to do it. I don't remember if I did anything else specifically, but I didn't supplement. I mean, initially. And then like, I think about a week later, I decided to supplement. And I think by the time I had started supplementing, it probably was already too late because that was around the time that the baby had died. So my NAPRO doctor said that it had nothing to do with me supplementing or not, so don't blame myself for that. Now, I guess there's other reasons for miscarriage. I'm not an expert on that, but basically he didn't think it was like, so even hearing that from a NAPRO doctor, that's kind of surprising. But he said sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So the next time I got pregnant, which was 3 months after my miscarriage, that was with my youngest right now. and I think I got tested around like 4 or 5 weeks pregnant, like so shortly after I found out I was pregnant. And I started supplementing right away. My levels were even lower than with the previous pregnancy, so that was scary to me. And I just didn't know what else to do. I didn't know, I was seeing our homeopath, but I would think I was too scared to let the homeopathy work like by itself, because I just didn't want to risk another miscarriage. And so I did supplement, and so my husband had to give me progesterone injections twice a week. Eventually we stopped doing that, but we did that for a few months, and it was quite painful. It was like every time like that side of my rear would heal, like he'd have to prick me on the other side, and it just like it was constantly like painful to sit down. So then we just decided to do more like suppositories or the capsules after that. And then I think that was pretty much what we did for the rest of the pregnancy, and it wasn't as expensive because the injections were quite expensive, and it was not covered by insurance at all, which is horrible. It was like $200 a month. I'm just like kind of appalled that insurance doesn't cover that, because I try to convince them too. I'm like, I have to take this to keep my baby alive, and they don't care. So, anyway, I took that until about like, I think it was around 29 weeks or so that I started to get like lax about taking my supplement, and we were considering home birth at that time because the birth center had closed down or it was about to close down, and we had to look into other options. There was another birth center, it was more expensive, or we could go with the midwives with that hospital, that were like the midwives with the birth center that was closing down, but they were going to go on to help the women in the hospital and start their own practice. But I just didn't feel comfortable with the hospital. So anyway, the home birth midwife that we consulted with, she said she could not believe that I was still on progesterone. It's the Pope Paul VI Institute's a protocol to do it until 36 weeks of pregnancy, but she was just surprised. She's like, after 12 or 13 weeks, like after the first trimester, the placenta just like takes over, and you don't have to worry about it so much. So that's kind of most midwives' philosophy, most doctors' philosophy about that who aren't NAPRO doctors. So I just kind of stopped taking it after that, and I think it was like maybe 32 weeks around that time that we saw her, and so I just like completely stopped taking it, and everything was fine after that. But I really, if you guys have watched my channel at all, you'll know that I like always look for the most natural possibility, like when it comes to health or natural remedies. I just try to find anything that's more natural than taking a pharmaceutical drug. So, it kind of killed me to do the progesterone, but I just didn't see any other option. I didn't want to risk miscarriage. So with this pregnancy, I knew that I needed to check my progesterone again because I have a history of low progesterone. Even before ever being pregnant, I did see like low progesterone whenever I would get my hormone panel done. And so with this pregnancy, I think I got tested pretty early, maybe around like 5 or 6 weeks, or maybe it was 7 weeks, 7 weeks tops. Yeah, I think it was around 7 weeks. Okay. Because I waited a little while because we were interviewing some home birth midwives. And so my level was a 13.1 or 2, maybe 13.1. I don't remember exactly. And that was kind of scary. Like, she didn't say anything to me. She's like, oh, your labs look normal. Because mine was within the normal range, 11 to 44. But, like, I was like, well, what? Like, thinking to myself, what happens if you're 11 or before that? Like, do you start miscarrying? But I actually found out, I know somebody who started supplementing with progesterone, and she was 12 weeks pregnant at a 10. So that's even below the normal range, and she was still pregnant, and she's still pregnant right now. So that was somewhat comforting, but it still was very scary. I was like talking back and forth with my husband, like, should we do the progesterone? And I was like weighing the pros and cons. I was like, you know, I have no idea, like talking about our second daughter, like if that's what kept her alive, the progesterone, or if she would have been fine without that. You know, and then I talked to a friend of mine who's a chiropractor, and she knows a lot about different remedies and stuff like that. And I asked her, do you know any alternative to taking progesterone to raise your progesterone levels? And she said you could eat a sweet potato a day. She knew somebody who had raised her levels by just eating a sweet potato a day, like within 2 weeks. I was too nervous to wait like 2 weeks between testing. So it was about a week and 2 days after that, because I started the sweet potato. I actually did 2 sweet potatoes a day for that whole week. Like it was 9 days, but I did the protocol for 7 days before getting tested again. And then in that same time period, I had found out from somebody that emu oil might help with that as well. Taking it at least 1.5 teaspoons of emu oil a day, up to 3 teaspoons a day could actually help raise your progesterone levels. So I wanted to try that. I've been taking the Walkabout emu oil. Also, I heard that the herbs thyme and dill help with that, so I was trying to add those into my food. And the next week my progesterone raised 2.7 points, so almost 3 points. So that was somewhat encouraging. It was like a 15.9, something like that. And then the next week I got tested. I was doing the same protocol. I was encouraged that it had increased almost 3 points. Then the next week, it went to just a 16.1. So that was kind of scary. And I was like, oh no, like it's only 0.2 points. And then I was kind of looking for like my last resort. I had asked this question in a group of mine, and somebody answered back that they had done the standard process protocol. So let me show you guys. This is these are standard process supplements. You have to be a certified practitioner in order to sell them. I don't sell them, but I'm just telling you what I take and what the protocol is. I'm not giving anybody medical advice, by the way. Definitely always consult with your physician or practitioner on this, but I highly, highly recommend this and working with a standard process practitioner. This is Utrophin PMG, and this is Simplex F. I'm supposed to take 6 of these a day and 3 of the Utrophin a day, and I split it up in 2 doses, so the morning and the evening. So 3 in the morning of this and 3 in the evening, and like 2 and then 1 in the evening for this one. And I took it, and I had only been taking it like a day, and that next time I got tested, just from a day, I don't know if it worked that quickly, but my levels increased 16.1 to like a 19, something like that. 19.1, maybe it increased like 3 points. And I was like, oh, that's good. So I was a little more encouraged, but still kind of nervous. And so I continued on with this protocol along with the sweet potatoes and the emu oil for another week. And the next week, my progesterone increased almost 10 points. And that was like the most dramatic increase. That was at 11 weeks pregnant. I got tested that time. And that's the last time I got tested because my numbers soared like into the second trimester, and I was still in the first trimester. So I was like, okay, this stuff is working. Because the second trimester, like the low point the low range for the second trimester is 25, and I was at like 28.9 or something. So it was like way more, like, I mean, it increased a lot, and I was like, okay, I feel good now that I'm like in the second trimester range. And let me just tell you what are in these. So the Utrophin PMG, this has, mainly what's in it is the bovine uterus PMG extract and magnesium citrate. So it's cow uterus. And this one, Simplex F, is bovine ovary PMG extract, bovine adrenal PMG extract, bovine pituitary PMG extract, and bovine thyroid PMG extract. So it has cow ovaries, adrenal glands, pituitary glands, and thyroid glands in here. And so clearly this stuff made a huge difference for me. And the practitioner I've been working with, she said she's worked with over 100 women who have had miscarriages, and this has made a difference for them. Like, they had successful pregnancies after this. So she said that I should stay on this protocol for the rest of my pregnancy. Who knows? Maybe if I'm pregnant again after this, maybe I wouldn't even need that. So I'm hoping this can actually help fix my hormonal problems. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys, because in the natural world, like, most people don't know what to do, like, including practitioners. They really don't know an alternative to progesterone, like whether it's a cream or like an essential oil, like that's like bio-identical, but it's still made in a lab. It's like bio-identical to your hormones, but it's still made in a lab. It's still not completely natural. So it's still kind of messing with your hormones, in my opinion, or maybe even your babies. Even though they say it's like completely safe, I just would much rather do something that's natural. And this is completely natural to me, using organ meats of animals. That's very traditional and natural to me. And yes, it's helping with your hormones, but I think it's doing it in a natural way. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I will link to my standard process practitioner, because she does virtual consults, and maybe she can help you or somebody you know. But I definitely recommend getting the supplements through a practitioner, because they are the ones that can recommend the appropriate protocol for you. And I've heard that you can actually purchase them on Amazon, but you want to be very careful about that, because you don't know how fresh they are, and you don't know if it's been tampered with. It's best to just buy it directly from a practitioner. So I hope you guys have found this video to be helpful, and until next time, I hope you have a wonderful week, and may God bless you and your family.